Good evening, everyone. You thirsty? I am. I'm Sara Kay. I'm your South Loop Chicago sommelier, and you're with me tonight helping launch Winesoaked.com. What is Winesoaked.com? It's a website I decided to create to help you come along with me on my wine journey. And I thought, what better way to celebrate than with some bubbly? I know I'm a big fan. Just so you guys know, I'll take you on the proper steps on how to open bubbly. Usually there's this lovely little foil tab that you use to take the cap off. Kind of want to keep pressure down. Not all bubblies will explode like bombs, but some of them can. I know me on my day-to-day activities as a sommelier, I've had some pretty embarrassing moments. So no matter what you do, make sure that you always keep pressure down on the cap while untwisting the cage. There are a few school of thoughts on whether to keep the cage on or off. I like to take it off mostly because I've got tiny hands. So for all you tiny-handed folks out there, take the cage off. Then you want to keep your hand firmly on the bottle and firmly on the cork at the same time, and just ever so gently twist the cork or the bottle, whichever is easier for you. You'll start to feel a little bit of pressure or give. That's the atmospheric pressure kind of pushing out the cork. Did you hear that? That is what some people like to call an angel hiss. In my sommelier books it says that a proper bottle of champagne should sound like a lady's fart when you open it. I think that was a nice dainty little fart we just heard. Another fun fact, the pressure in a bottle of wine is actually the same amount of air pressure in a tire. So that we know is why you want to watch out to make sure this puppy doesn't fly out and hit you in the head, because it can leave a dent or a bump. Alright, so tonight we're going to be comparing two separate bubblies that I've had at different times in my life, and I figure I'd bring them together and do kind of the Pepsi challenge tonight to see what's awesome. So we're starting with Gruet, which is a Brut. Brut means dry. And this is actually from New Mexico, which is kind of fun. When you think of wine country in America, you don't necessarily think New Mexico, but it has the right soil and the right climate to grow the same grapes that we love from Champagne, France. So fabulous New World bubbly selection. And this, if I remember correctly, it doesn't say anywhere on the bottle, but I think it's a blend of Champagne and Pinot Noir. So I'm going to pour Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, I apologize. Pour myself a little bit of bubbly. I'm sure most of you have had that embarrassing situation where you go to pour bubbly and you get a whole glass of foam and it kind of spills over onto your table. The trick is to pour yourself a tiny bit and wait for it to settle and then pour the rest of your glass. And you'll always get the perfect pour because the bubbles have already tricked themselves into thinking that they're in the glass and settled. Champagne you'll always want to use in a flute instead of the big bowl glasses. The reason being is that you want all the bubbles and you want to see the bubbles, and there's actually tiny little cuts in the bottom of this glass that allow the bubbles to travel up in perfect little streams for your tasting and viewing enjoyment. So in glass number one, we've got a Pinot Chard bubbly blend from New Mexico. And in glass number two, we are going to do one of my favorites, the Pierre Delize Blanc. This is from Loire Valley, so it's just under Champagne, which equal soil, equal greatness. The only difference is about $60 a bottle. That just looks tasty, doesn't it? I invite you all to buy a bunch of bubbly this weekend and taste as much as I am. Everyone will be happy. Alright, so first we're going to look at the color. If you're ever color analyzing at home, I always recommend to have a piece of paper that you can hold up the wine against to compare, because right now the way I'm looking at it is not proper, because what I'm looking at is actually all the colors of the room reflecting through the glass, opposed to the actual color of the wine. But sometimes paper can appear for you, and you can hold your wine over the paper. I'm noticing right away that my Pierre Delize is significantly lighter in color than my Gruet. I think that's definitely because Pierre Delize is a Blanc de Blanc, whereas Gruet has a tiny bit of Pinot Noir. I'm sure some of you are asking, why is this a white wine if it has Pinot Noir? And that is an excellent question. Pinot Noir, along with any red grapes, when you juice it, the juice comes out clear. The only way you make it red is to add the skins back in. In Champagne, the only legal grapes you can use are Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and a tiny bit of Pinot Meunier. So there is a healthy, healthy dose of Pinot Noir in almost every white Champagne that we know and love. If it's got Pinot Noir in it, it'll always be a Blanc de Noir, which means white from black. Whereas if it's Chardonnay based, it's always Blanc de Blanc, as in white from white, which is the first one we're about to smell and taste here. Bubbly is the only wine in the tasting that we skip an important tasting step, which is the swirl. The reason we don't swirl is you don't want to lose all of those precious little bubbly beads there. Right away on this one I smelled nice roasted pears, some almonds, some hazelnut, even some crusty brioche. Yep, I'm smelling a fabulous fall-time breakfast here in my glass. And I'm also looking at the bubble in my glass. I wish you guys could see it as close as I can. But this one is a little bit more of a sporadic bubble, which makes me think that it hasn't been aged as long and it hasn't been cared for as long in the bottle, which is probably why I can get it for a nice $12.99 a bottle opposed to $60 a bottle. This is a lovely bubbly. There's definitely dryness to it, however it's got a nice creamy finish. This to me is perfect for an everyday Sunday bubbly. Drink it for morning with breakfast, drink it with Thai food, drink it with your favorite episode of Top Chef, just perfect, easy drinking bubbly. Oh yeah, the Gruet definitely smells a little heftier. You can smell a faint hint of kind of red fruit in there, which would definitely be from the Pinot Noir. So like a very faint raspberry almost. And some brioche. And some more kind of barnyardy qualities. Let's give this puppy a taste. You can also notice some more concentrated beads here. I wish you could see this up close because it's actually coming off the side of my glass, which would definitely be the spots that they make the little tiny incisions on the glass so that you get the perfect beads of bubbly. This is literally day and night in bubbly, which kind of makes sense because we've got Blanc de Blanc, which is white, and Blanc de Noir, which is black and nighty and musty. For any of you beer fans out there, the Gruet definitely would please the palate of people that like Hefeweizens. There's a nice, heavy, yeasty, almost citrusy quality to it, where the Blanc de Noir, or the Blanc de Blanc is much lighter and kind of fruity. So both awesome and both worth drinking. Excuse me. Bubbles went to my throat there a little bit. Alright, well I hope this has been educational and informative for you guys. Just so you know, if you want to keep following my journey, come to Winesoaked once a week. I'll be sure to post new and fun, interesting videos for you. And if you'd like to fund my journey, there is a donate button. I am currently raising money to go to my next level of sommelier certification, and I would love to take you all with me. So drink, don't think, and in the words of Napoleon Bonaparte, you need champagne in victory and you deserve it in defeat. Have a lovely night.